Sunshine State.
Good afternoon and welcome. Are you the president, CEO, CFO, CIO, or chief bottle washer? Do you want to be? This is the radio program for you. You're listening to The Focal Point on Tan Talk 1340. I'm your host, Gil Pinney. I'm your Focal Point business coach, and I really want to thank you for listening. I appreciate your input and time spent. This is a unique and one-of-a-kind radio program for Tampa Bay and the whole state of Florida. This program focuses on the key elements that make businesses grow. Every week we touch a way to grow and improve your business and your brand. So if business is not giving you everything you deserve, please listen today and every Monday at this time. Today I have a special guest to guide us through the maze of fees for credit card processing and how to avoid them. She'll give us lots of information, and I'm going to keep her name secret just for a little while. Keep you listening. The best way for you to gain clarity is to participate, and we thrive on that participation. So please give us a call. Our call-in number is 727-441-3000. You can tweet me at Pinney G. That's Pinneyg. You want to send me an email? It's gilpinney@yahoo.com. That's GILPINNEY @yahoo.com. And last but not least, you can always go to my website and send us some information there and see who I am and what I'm all about. And that's gilpinney.com. So that's all the critical information. We'd like to hear from you as soon as you would like. We're going to pass some really good information. And any questions you have, I'm sure that our guest will answer them. Almost said her name. How'd your first week of August end? Are you on target with your critical performance measures? Those critical performance measures tell you whether or not you're going to hit your goal for August. If you're not sure what to measure or how to measure them, give me a call. You can have a free consultation. We'll discuss those. And that phone number to call and set up an appointment is 727-537-9680. We'll do some little housekeeping here. One item you might want to consider is I have a workshop coming up starting in the middle of September on the 15th. It's a Transform Your Business workshop. We'll help you get the end of 2015 in line and set you up to have a record-breaking 2016. As I said, it runs for 8 weeks from September 15th through November 3rd, and we'll be doing this from 6 to 7 p.m. And if you'd like to join, please use the Transform Your Business search and go to Eventbrite, and you'll be able to sign up and get your tickets for that event. Tomorrow, I'm giving my 5 secrets to growth in a tight labor market. That will be at the Oldsmar Chamber of Commerce, and you can register for that at utbchamber.com. This is a lunch and learn, so if you're going to register, please send me an email, because I would like to make sure that you have a sandwich to eat when you arrive.
I like food.
You like food? Come on down, buddy. Come on down, Chris. Anyway, please send me an email at gilpinney@yahoo.com by 9 o'clock tonight if you're planning to attend. All you procrastinators out there, please get that done so I can make sure that we have something there for you to eat. The final reminder that we have today is the elevator speech contest. As part of the Oldsmar Top of the Morning Toastmasters Club and their Vice President of Education, we are running an elevator speech contest for pretty much anyone that would like to participate. Those speeches will be given for the qualifying round will be given on September 16th and September 30th. So think about it. You only have to attend one of those, and then after that, you'll either win that round, and then the final round will be held on October 7th. There will be some pretty nice prizes. There will be gift cards to Panera, Starbucks. You'll have featured spots on the Oldsmar Toastmasters website, along with our Facebook page, declaring you the winner of that contest and the best elevator speech giver in the upper Tampa Bay. So it's a pretty good honor. You'll have a good time. If you want to find out what the rules are, I'm not going to iterate those now, but go to Eventbrite again and go to top Toastmasters Top of the Morning. Use that as your search term, and the elevator speech contest will come up. You can register. It's all free, and you'll have a great time. So come on out, join us. There'll be plenty of refreshments. If you want to come and heckle your favorite friend, give them some heckling while they're doing their speech, that's welcome too. But the positive part of that whole elevator speech contest is it's part of an Oldsmar or a Toastmasters meeting, and the evaluation of the elevator speeches is very excellent for the person receiving it. The comments that you'll receive back will help you get better both as a speaker and in delivery, employing your body language, your vocal variety, all the things that make you interesting to listen to so that your message gets across more effectively. So, for today, we are going to be talking credit card processing fees, and we all know what they do to our profit. They take little bitty chunks out each and every week, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Before we do that, though, I'm going to keep you on the edge of your seat. I'd like to review what we talked about last week, and these are other expense control items. First, we talked about inventory control. Make sure you look at the aging of your inventory. Find out what's been sitting there the longest, how to minimize wherever possible and whenever possible any inventory you have that's 9 months or older. Find out why it is moving so slowly. Was it an overbuy? Was it an item that just doesn't sell in your store? How can you move it either to another store or back to the supplier to get your money out of it? Because the key thing is get your cash out of sitting there in the back room. The second area of expense control we talked about was getting help from your supplier. Knowing what the terms and conditions are for your supplier. Try to get those terms that you have to pay shorter than what the terms are that you either give your customer. If you're a retail operation and you turn your inventory 15 times a year, it's really a good idea to get net 30 from your supplier. If you do that, you're going to be receiving your money from your customers before you need to pay your vendor, and it's going to help churn your cash and improve your overall position. The second point we made last week is to put out a very well-defined RFQ, which is request for quote, every 2 to 5 years for your key suppliers. This is not to say you're not going to be loyal to your existing supplier, but it's first of all, it's to keep them honest and make sure that any price increases you've received over the past few years are industry specific and not you specific. And then also open the opportunity for somebody that may have better service, better terms, better delivery than what your current supplier has, and you'll find that out during that RFQ process. You also want to work with your supplier to minimize your transportation costs. These can be as much as 3% of your total business, so you really want to look and assure yourself that you drive those down as close to 1% as possible. The other thing from your supplier you want to do is generate and use as much co-op money as possible, and we'll continue talking about that with your supplier as soon as we come back from our first break, and we'll finish this off then and move on to our mystery guest. Thank you.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
At the Oaks of Clearwater, you'll enjoy a lifestyle to fit your needs. From independent living, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing. Our exciting independent lifestyle is the perfect combination of freedom, comfort, and security. Enjoy total independence with peace of mind. Our independent lifestyle includes chef-prepared meals in our beautiful waterfront dining room, a continental breakfast, all utilities, including cable and telephone, housekeeping with linen service, scheduled transportation, including trips for shopping, local restaurants, theater, and more. Our activities program is second to none. At the Oaks of Clearwater, you'll enjoy affordable luxury waterfront senior living with $1 million view. Call today, 727-445-4069, and discover where caring, compassionate service really makes the difference.
Did you know there's a sprawling botanical paradise right in your own backyard? Come visit Sunken Gardens. Located at 1825 4th Street North, it's St. Petersburg's oldest living museum. This 100-year-old garden is home to some of the oldest tropical plants in the region. Unwind as you stroll through meandering paths, lush with exotic plants from around the world. Explore cascading waterfalls, beautiful demonstration gardens, and more than 50,000 tropical plants and flowers. Sunken Gardens provides garden tours, horticultural programs, special events, field trips, weddings, private or corporate rentals, and much more. Call 727-551-3102 for more information. That's 727-551-3102. Sunken Gardens, 1825 4th Street North, right in the heart of Old Northeast St. Petersburg. Call 727-551-3102.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome back, business leaders and those that want to be. You're a part of the Focal Point Radio Show on Tan Talk 1340. Thank you for being part of our audience. I am your Focal Point business coach, and my name is Gil Pinney. We do this show to build our We do this show to build our community's economic engine, which is small business. Please tweet any questions or comments to Pinney G, or give us a call at 727-441-3000. Send me an email at gilpinney@yahoo.com, or just go to my website and type something in there, which is gilpinney.com. Let's finish up on our review from last week very quickly, and then we'll start our discussion with our mystery guest to teach us about credit card processing fees. We were finishing up on our supplier, knowing using their co-op money for advertising. That's a great idea. It reduces your expense and hopefully gets you into some markets that you may or may not do normally. Always know your return policy for the goods you buy from a supplier and find out whether or not they give you a scrap loss allowance. The other thing you always need to look at, particularly if you're in retail, is your inventory shrinkage figure. And we'll have an in-depth discussion on that during one of our September, most likely the middle of September shows. So listen for that, but keep thinking about your inventory shrinkage. And with respect to your labor, make sure you control your wasted time of your employees. Try to use whatever time they have to your benefit and not just idle time. Well, as a Focal Point coach, we have available to us specific industry assessments. So if you're looking at one of your expense items and you want to know if you're the best in the industry, or if you want to find out if you're in the middle of the pack, or maybe you're trailing, and you want to know that and compare yourself to other people that are in the same business and industry as you are, we can provide that information. It's great information to have. It's relatively inexpensive for you to get. And so if you would like to have one of those industry assessments for your operation, please give me a call. Again, that number is 727-537-9680. These are extremely valuable tools, and it's one of the great assets you get from a Focal Point business coach. Our job is to work with you to identify your strengths and opportunities and track those opportunities to make you a better business person. With all that said, part of your business coach is to bring you opportunities to improve your overall process. Today's topic is credit card processing. And as we know, credit card fees can eat up to 3% of your margin. And we got to think about what the current system is today, what direction it's going in the future. And so here today to provide us with some answers and some insider insight is Charlaina Stevens. Welcome, Charlaina.
Thank you, Gil. It's a pleasure to be here, and I just want to say thank you so much for this great opportunity.
Well, we're looking forward to all the information you've got to bring to us. But before we do that, I'll send out her contact information. Her phone number, if you need to reach her at her office, is 813-337-2000, and her extension is 4816. Her email address is Charlaina, which is CHARLAINA .Stevens, STEVENS, at e-mg.com. And the E-MG stands for Elliott Management Group. We'll give that information out again later, but let's learn more about Charlaina, how she got where she is, and let's hear it. Let's hear the biography of Charlaina Stevens.
All right, love to share. I moved to Florida back in 2000, and I'm originally from Massachusetts. And I was a nurse for 13 years, and I loved that. It was a great career, but I got a little burnt out and decided to go back to school, and went back to school for Christian counseling. So I do some life coaching, and I had a friend that was in the merchant service industry, and I got a phone call from him, and just decided to check it out. I really, really enjoy helping people, obviously, with the nursing background. And I saw an opportunity, being a small business owner myself with my coaching. I felt like I might be able to help small to medium-sized businesses kind of just grow and save a little bit, because that's so hard for small businesses to do. So I wanted to take the opportunity to help them as well.
Yeah, very good. From nurse to merchant services is not that long a path when you take the path of caring for others. So that makes a lot of sense. Explain credit card processing. I'm not the smartest guy on earth, but back 5-10 years ago, I thought you just gave the credit card and the business got their money from the credit card company, and the credit card company did all the work, and that's what they got the fee for. I don't believe that's the way it goes today. How does it all work now?
Well, it's similar, but definitely when debit cards came into the whole processing arena, it became really nice because it afforded people that had their own money to be able to use their debit cards. It was safe for businesses because it was money that was already in their account. So debit cards offered a whole new avenue, if you will, for credit card, as another avenue for credit card processing. The rates obviously have gone up since, back, 20 years ago. But really adding debit cards into the mix of things really changed things. And how that happened is basically what the banks did when debit cards came out. They were such a unique feature and everybody wanted them, so they grew quite rapidly. The only thing is the banks set that value on the debit cards to be the same as a regular credit card. So the banks made a lot of money, which is great for the banks, but not so good for the businesses. So in 2012, along came the Durbin Act, and there was actually a senator from Texas, Dick Durbin, who incorporated this amendment and put it into effect. And it basically, what it did was it took that debit card and put it back to a place where it should have been. Because a debit card is your own money. You're actually not borrowing money. So the rate should be adequate and it should go along with that, because debit cards are based on security. So the Durbin Law put the value for credit cards down where it needed to be, and it made it a lot better for businesses to use debit cards.
So the financing of the debit card is funded by the business owner, not by the person using it.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct, as well as all the other credit cards. That all comes from the business, the merchant.
Well, let's talk, how are those fees structured? I remember when we had a talk a few weeks ago, you kind of drew me a line and said the credit card companies get X amount, and then this processor gets this amount, the bank gets this amount.
Sure.
I don't remember how all that works, but it'd be good to let the audience understand where all their money is going, since it is the business owner that's paying that bill. Where does that money go?
Right, absolutely. The whole credit card industry is, it's really important for you as a merchant to realize that different types of cards have a different rate attached to them. And it really goes by the security of the card. So a debit card is your own money sitting in the bank. It's very secure. It's there. It's safe. It's almost like a savings account. So the rate on that is below 1%. Then you have a qualified card, and that's just a regular MasterCard, Visa card, or Discover card. And that's somewhere between 1 and 2%. Then you have a business card, which is considered a mid-qualified card, and that puts it up in the high 2s to 3. And then you have your rewards card, which is also 3s to 4. So they're a little bit more risky. Those cards are more risky because it's a business card and it's done by businesses, and there's just a higher risk to them. So that's how the whole structure of different rates for different cards, which a lot of people don't know that. They don't realize that, which is kind of the beginning, the foundation.
Yeah, that was one of the real amazing things to me. I thought the rewards cards were there to get the consumer to use XYZ's credit card, be it Citibank or Chase or whoever the issuing company was. I thought it was to get you to use their card, and I thought, oh, okay, so I'm going to use their card more, run up a bill, and they're going to make money on my interest. But what you're telling me now is that part may be true, but the other part is that the business owner gets to fund the trip to Hawaii that you get after spending $25,000 on credit cards.
That is correct. Credit cards come from banks. So if you pull your credit card out of your wallet right now, if I take mine out, mine says Premier Bank, or there's a bank attached to a credit card. So the banks aren't going to pay for the rewards. So basically, the merchant is having to pay for the rewards. So that's why those cards are a lot higher.
Okay. Well, very, very good. That's still a subject that I guess it's hard to understand, because it's like lowering. You would think, to sell more goods in the real world, that you would take the product and reduce the cost possibly to move more goods, and as you move more goods, even at a lower price, you're going to make more money.
Correct.
Unfortunately, the banks are the other way around. They're encouraging you to use a card and then having somebody else pay the bill so that you use the card more frequently. That's amazing. That's a good thought to keep, and we'll keep that thought when we come back from break, and we'll be back shortly.
Hi, this is Tim Del Toro.
And I'm Lou Angel Wolf, and we are the Grease Gurus.
Our show is broadcast every Saturday morning live at WTAN 10 Talk Radio 1340.
That's 10 o'clock every Saturday morning for an automotive forum that is flavored with humor and insight.
We encourage you to call in and be part of the Grease Gurus show.
We'd love to have you, and we will certainly help you find your inner grease.
This show is sponsored by Tim's Performance Service Center in beautiful Tarpon Springs at 906 Verona Place, and you can reach us personally at 727-543-1601.
Aha.
Some people don't believe in mermaids. Hope that's not you, because they exist at Weeki Wachee Springs State Park off US 19 and State Road 50, just north of Spring Hill. Since 1947, the magic of the mermaids have been entertaining visitors at the 538-acre Springs Park. Come and watch in the 400-seat submerged theater, the Little Mermaid Show at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily. Weeki Wachee State Park offers mermaid shows, reptile shows, boat tours, and swimming in the pristine spring at Buccaneer Bay. Weeki Wachee State Park is a perfect backdrop for wedding receptions, birthday parties, picnics, meetings, retreats, family reunions, or just to relax on the white sandy beach. Step back in time when things were much simpler and enjoyable. Spend the day at an original theme park. Call 352-592-5656 or log on to wikiwachee.com for upcoming events, hours, and ticket pricing. Weeki Wachee Springs State Park, where mermaids do exist.
Hi, this is John Austin, host of the book club on the Tan Talk Radio Network. I spent 35 years in publishing, and today I want to tell you about a book that can change people's lives. The book is No Cash, No Problem, and the author is Dave Wagenford with Ali Pervez. Dave Wagenford is one of the greatest barter experts in the world, and he's bartered over $500 million worth of goods and services. You want to remodel your house, but the cost is just too high, or maybe there's an automobile that you've dreamed of owning but thought you never could afford. This book will tell you how you can do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash and without going into hock for the rest of your life. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existent profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now on Amazon for just $7.98 for the ebook edition. Do yourself a big favor and buy it today.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome back, business leaders. You're part of the Focal Point Radio Show on Tan Talk 1340. Thank you for being part of our audience. I'm your Focal Point business coach, and I am here with Charlaina Stevens, who's giving us some really great insight on merchant services, specifically around credit cards. And why do we do this? We do this to improve our community's economic engine, which is you, small business owners. So please send us a tweet at Pinney G, give us a call at 727-441-3000, or send me an email at gilpinney@yahoo.com. Or if you need an appointment for a free 1-hour session, give me a call at 727-537-9680. Well, prior to the break, Charlaina was explaining to us how the credit card companies and the banks break up their fees to us and how the fees vary by the type of credit card you use, being it from debit card to a regular debit card to those that offer rewards programs. So with that, I'd like to move and ask her another question, specifically around what makes Elliott Management Group different from, say, using your credit card from one of our local banks, either a small bank or a big bank. What's the difference between processing for the small business owner through Elliott versus one of the banks?
That's an awesome question. Basically, with the banks, and banks are amazing, and banks do wonderful things, but banks don't process. So in order for a bank to process a credit card for you, the merchant, they would have to connect or be in some kind of relationship with a processing company, which is fine. But what that equates to for the merchant is then having to pay two people. So, because the bank's not going to do it for free, and neither is the processing company. So the merchant has to pay the bank and the processing company each a little piece of his pie, if you will. At Elliott, and we're not the only company, but we're one of about 6 or 7 companies in the United States that actually do direct processing. And yes, we have a bank, that I get paid by my bank, Fifth Third, who works with Elliott, but it's different that we are not in contract with them. We don't need them to process the money. We do all of our own processing, and we are not in contract. So that's what makes it different. So you're paying one person versus 2. if you are working with a bank and you're a merchant out there, there's another way to do it. Just so you know, there's other options, and you might want to look into them. Maybe your bank has you at a great place, but you might want to look into direct processing with a company because they can cut your prices. What we're finding anywhere from 35 to 50%.
Very good. Well, many business owners would be concerned. What's my bank going to say if I move my processing from Bank XYZ to Elliott? What's the bank going to say, and is it going to cause any problems with the relationship?
That's another really good question. I would think that your bank would be pretty understanding if you were making a business move that was going to help your business grow and put more profit into your pocket. I would think that they would be understanding. And my question to the merchant would be, if the bank is so good, why aren't they taking care of you out of the gate? Why do I come in and am I able to put you in such a better place if the banks are doing such a great job? And I'm not trying to knock banks, because banks are great, but banks make money. That's what banks do. And processing companies process. So the banks got into it, and it goes back to the Durbin Act. Once the banks started losing all this money, when Dick Durbin put this amendment into effect, the banks lost millions and millions of dollars because they weren't able to charge that higher rate for that debit card. So they lost a lot of money. So what they did was they got back into the processing, working with a small ISO, independent sales organization. The banks and these smaller ISOs are now working together, and that forms your third-party processing.
And again, not to defend a bank, but I speak with a lot of bankers because they interface with a lot of my potential customers.
Absolutely.
Because in many cases, when a bank will tell me that customer XYZ is having a difficult time increasing the revenue, so I'll go and have a conversation with them, do my free consultation, and hopefully book them as a client. But the banks do that because they are concerned about their customer. And banks are big. A lot of the big banks,
Sure.
They have a difficult time not focusing on that profit that you're talking about. But when you're talking about individual people that work in the bank that deal directly with a small business owner, I think they're more on your side than they are the bank side. So
Yeah.
I've made a lot of positive relationships with those people, but what the big guys on top of the bank say versus what the people on the lower level say, I don't think you would hurt your relationship if you're a small business owner and you switch your credit card processing. I think you'd be sending a positive message to that bigger bank to, one, look at their fee structure, and two, listen to the people that are dealing directly with the small business owner, because they feel very similar to what you do. Okay, well, that little lecture's out of the way. I got my political statement out of the way, I guess. But banks are definitely there to make money, and that's their mission. What is the big mission for Elliott? What brings Elliott to work every day?
Good question. Elliott's mission, I'd have to say their mission statement is all about helping people. They really want to help people, and obviously it's a company as well. It has an infrastructure where they need to make money, but they are aware of how the infrastructure works in the bank and how some processing companies overcharge, and price gouging is not a term that wouldn't be appropriate here. Like certain gas companies can gouge, so can processing companies, and we just find it to be unfair. There's pricing that can be in the middle, that can work for the processing company and be a fair, transparent price for the merchant as well. So they like to be transparent with all their dues and fees. They have some pretty good pricing structures as far as their fees being monthly and not done on a percentage, which is pretty neat. And they really do care about people, and that's why I could buy into them. That's what drew me in.
Well, I guess the one thing, I think we've covered a lot of ground so far, but from the merchant standpoint, What misconceptions do you feel that they have around the credit card and how they use it, for, not in their business, but when they accept a credit card? What do you find they don't understand is really going on?
I really find when I talk to business owners that they probably 90% of them don't have a clue. Like, they just don't understand processing. And don't feel bad because it's confusing and it's multi-layered. So if you don't have a rep or a consultant that spends time with you, educating you, telling you about Durbin, telling you about debit cards, and to educate your staff that you really want to use debit card as your first choice. It really is imperative to teach the business owner and their staff. It's not only the way you take the cards, whether you're swiping or keying it in. There's a big difference there, and we'll hit on that, but also what type of cards you're taking. So take debit over a rewards card or a business card because it's going to cost you less. So you can educate your staff on that. And also, if you are swiping a card, again, if you're swiping, the card is present, and that's very important. It brings the security down. So you want that. You want your processing company to know that the card is present, it's secure. If you're keying it in, it's possible it could be a stolen card. You know what I mean? So it really, education is important. So Elliott stands out because we educate, we have great pricing, we have great technology, and that's maybe some of the things we can hit on.
Okay. Let's go from, we've talked about a lot about not necessarily the past, but the older ways of swiping and all that stuff on credit cards. We have we have 3 minutes to break, but we have about 8 minutes left to talk. I'd like to talk a little bit about the new cards with chips. What are they? What advantage do they have? What does it really mean to the small business owner and the merchant? What equipment do they have to change equipment? What is their liability? Let me know what the real world's coming to.
Sure. Yeah, there is a law that's being passed in October, and actually, let me reword that. It's not an actual law by the government or by state. It's actually something that's happening through the credit card companies. And what it is that all the business owners need to have an EMV compliant machine. And EMV stands for Euro, Visa, and MasterCard. So it's just basically all your common cards. And what this chip is, and that the EMV compliance is basically that you have a credit card that will take the chip. So there will be a chip in your card, and what this does is it protects your clients from hacking. So it's an encrypted card. It protects your clients from being hacked, as everybody is aware about. People have been hacked at all kinds of stores, and this is not a fun thing to have happen. So it protects your clients from cloning a card.
Okay, so we watch the commercials on TV where put it in a special little pocket, and that little pocket will protect you. If it's a card with a chip on it, it really doesn't need that special pocket. So, or whatever, it prevents the guy from skimming it. I would think it doesn't do anything if somebody steals your card, but it prevents the cloning and the skimming of your card, and all your personal information happens to also be on that. When the skimmer takes that information, it takes all that. And so that would be a help if you're swiping it at a gas station and
Absolutely.
They try to skim it. So that's really great information. We're going to talk a little bit more about that because I'd like to find out about the fines and the rollout dates and talk a little bit more about the equipment. But right now, we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back.
My name's Joni Siegel, and I'm the producer of the L. Ron Hubbard East Coast Golden Age Theater, WTAN Radio's presentation of Tales from the Golden Age, tales in every popular genre. Let us return you to a time when fiction was good, clean entertainment and the most fun a kid could have on a rainy afternoon, or the best thing an adult could enjoy after a long day at work.
East Coast Golden Age Theater, Monday evening at 6 on the Time Talk Radio Network. Hey everybody, this is Pastor Marsha McAllister from Beacon of Hope Ministries. We want you to join us on Sunday afternoons at 3 o'clock on this radio station for our 2-hour show, talking to you about the Word of God, giving you great contemporary music, some lively chat, and just some food for thought. You'll be encouraged to know how very much God loves you and how He has a plan for your life. Join us this coming Sunday at 3 o'clock on Living the Good Life.
Hi, this is Patsy with a Z. Have you written a book? Want to write one? Or do you just enjoy reading? Listen to Joy on Paper every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock for the story behind the book as I interview best-selling authors, agents, and publishers. Remember, that's Joy on Paper on Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio, 1340 WTAN.
Arg, matey. When it's time for lunch, when it's time for dinner, when the show's over, when the day's over, when it's time to chill, where do we go? Over to Naughty Nancy's Food Shack and Crow's Nest Pub. It's literally in our backyard, right in back of the WTAN studios at 700 Eldridge Street, just north of downtown Clearwater. Just look for the broadcast tower. Nancy's food and atmosphere get rave reviews. The laid-back patio is a great place to hang out, dine, and listen to live music at night. And Nancy's one of the friendliest proprietors in town. And now, Nancy is serving Sunday Jazz Brunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Brunch served with Eggs Benedict, crepes, waffles, lox and bagels, shrimp, oysters, and a build-your-own omelet. That's all at Naughty Nancy's Food Shack and Crow's Nest Pub, 700 Eldridge Street in Clearwater. That's right where Eldridge crosses the Pinellas Trail between Myrtle and Fort Harrison. Call 446-3717. 446-3717. You're listening to the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Tampa Bay's fresh new talk radio. Tan Talk. Tan Talk.
Hey, welcome back, business leaders. You're part of the Focal Point radio show on Tan Talk 1340, and thank you for being part of our audience. We have with us Charlaina Stevens. She's giving us lots of great information on merchant services, specifically around credit card processing, what it's all about, what's coming up. That's the next topic. If you'd like to contact her, her phone number is 813-337-2000, and her extension is 4816. If you'd prefer to contact her by email, her email address is charlaina.stevens@e-mg.com. And stop laughing at me because I'm talking in such a monotone voice so that you can hear what I'm saying.
Hi, my name is Gil.
So you can get the information down, so you can contact her. Okay, now that you've made me lose my place in my thought process here, we have spoken about how the credit cards are changing, the new chip, what it's all about. You mentioned the date of October. What happens in October? And then I'd like to hear about the equipment that's required to take the chip, card on a chip, or chip on a card.
Okay.
Charlaina, tell me more.
Sounds good. So it's this October, so October 2015, that basically what the credit card companies are doing is they're taking the responsibility away from themselves where it lies right now. So if there's any hacking or anything like that, the responsibility falls on the credit card companies. As of October, it falls on the merchant, so it falls on the business. So if you do not have an EMV compliant machine, the fines are going to be exorbitant. They're quite large, and I don't want to throw a number out there because I don't want to get it wrong, but I know they're going to be really high, and it's not worth it. You know, get the updated machine so that you don't have this, and you can protect not only yourself but your clients.
Okay. How are banks handling this with respect to equipment? Do you have to pay whatever it is for the new machine who do you buy it from if you've already got a bank? If you're
I can't speak for the banks and how they're doing it. I mean, they're probably If some, I'm not sure. I'm sure the machines aren't for free, so you have to pay for them. I'm sure.
Well, let's talk about something you know more about.
Yeah.
And that's the Elliott Management Group machines. How and what type of equipment do you have that process these cards? And what range is a business owner looking at? How do you lease them? What's the overall process?
Sure, good question. Yep. So in order to get yourself in a new machine, if you are not EMV compliant, there's a couple options. You can lease the machine or buy it outright. So there's many options there, and I'm sure the bank has the same thing. There's options of leasing. You can get a lease anywhere from $59.95 to $69.95, somewhere in that range for a lease. So that's what most businesses like to do, is get a lease, because it protects them. If you're in a lease, the equipment, if anything were to go wrong, it's covered in the lease. But there are other options out there as well.
Okay. With that level of equipment, as a small business owner, what kind of analytics or background or backroom material do you get from Elliott that you may not get from another credit card processor?
Sure. One thing that Elliott does have, which is great, and it doesn't matter if you're getting the phone swiper, which is the smallest piece of equipment that we have, is the swiper that fits in your phone. Then, of course, we have the countertop. That's called the Oceano. And then we have an Oceano Mobile, so that if you're needing to take this machine out and say you work the fairs or anything like that, you have this Oceano Mobile that is Wi-Fi, which is a great piece of equipment. And then we have a 4-piece unit, which would be great for a bar, a restaurant, any retail. So any of these would be good for you to use and are all EMV compliant.
What information do I get back from,
the analytics. I'm sorry.
You get 20 people swiping a card on Tuesday and only 2 on Wednesday. What information, like I said, does Elliott provide that standard credit card companies may not?
Excellent. Yes, I got caught up in our machines and all the stuff that they do. We have a whole back office, so you have your whole business analytics in this back office. So it doesn't just break it down month to month, but it actually breaks it down day to day. So what it shows you is that you've actually had this much expenditure, your business, you've brought in this much into your business this day, and it shows you that type of analytic on a day-to-day basis. But we also have something new called Elliott Insights, which is really neat, and we're really excited about this. And what it does is it actually looks and it gives you your business metrics for your online presence, which is huge today. Everybody's online. Do I have 3 stars or 4 stars? How do I rate? If I'm a pizza company, how do I rate to the other pizza companies in my area? What are they doing that I'm not doing online? So it gives you a whole breakdown of your online presence as well. It looks at citywide revenue ranking, selects, it monitors your local competitors, and it gives you your year-to-year revenue growth, and so much more.
Oh, wow. That's a good reason to have them give you a call, just to get that information from your credit card purchases. We're running out of time quickly, but I do have to ask about the future. We've heard a lot about Apple Pay and Google Pay. What is that particular direction? Now you can tap your phone, walk by. Does Elliott A have that equipment? How different is that from processing as a regular credit card?
Okay, good question. Yes, we do have that. Both of our Oceano machines are capable, and that's called the actual equipment, or what does this is called near-field communications. So basically, it's called Apple Pay or Google Pay, where everything is downloaded into your phone. So it's like an app that gets downloaded into your phone. You no longer have to carry cash or credit cards. You just use your phone. Nothing can be stolen. And you just tap it onto the machine, and it takes the credit card information, which is encrypted and safe, and you've just made a payment.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And the processing fee is just like using a credit card.
It's a little bit more to do it that way. It would be like keying it in. So remember, the cheapest way to take a credit card is by having it present and sliding it. So it is a little bit more expensive to do it that way, but that's something that you choose. If you're going to choose the safety, then it does go up a little bit, but it's not that much.
Okay, I got to clarify this for me here a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
So the business merchant pays for the consumer to be more secure with their credit card purchases.
Yeah.
That's
the way they take the card.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and you have an option not to take that. If you're the business owner and you don't want to take it that way, that's your option. You don't have to tell people that, it's a convenience. It's just like when you have a card, you're taking a card, you're a business owner, debit or credit. So it's the same thing of how you ask and how you take the cards.
My mind is working on from the marketing side. What percentage of businesses currently do the NFC or near field communication type acceptance of credit cards?
It's getting quite popular.
Is it?
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to that. I mean, everybody has an iPhone or an Android. The smartphones, they're becoming huge. And all of the iPhones and the smartphones do this. So people, especially I would say younger folks, they really like that. You don't have to take anything with you but your phone. So it makes it so much easier. It's a convenience. And we know that everybody loves easy these days.
Yes, easy's the way to go. Easy's the way to go. Oh, wow. Anything else before we wrap this thing up? Because we've only got a minute and a half before we have to leave our company here. So anything specific you'd like to add at the end?
Just really for any businesses out there that have questions and just feel like they don't understand some of their charges or rates or anything like that, just please reach out, give me a call. I'd love to do a free compared analysis for you at no cost. And that's me just looking at who you're currently processing with and seeing if I can help you out either with pricing or if nothing else, just helping educate you and helping you understand how to read your statement, if nothing else.
Very good. Well, again, her contact information is area code 813-337-2000, in other words, 2000, extension 4816. And I'm not going to say the email address again, as I did before. It's charlaina.stevens@e-mg.com. And hopefully you've got that. If you don't, I'll send me an email at gilpinney@yahoo.com, and I will send you all of her contact information. But as being your business coach, and just a little bit of time left, I want to remind you that you can always get a free business consultation. We'll talk credit card processing. We'll talk about your other expenses in your business. We'll talk about what concerns you. The other thing, you might want to get the copy of Success Magazine for this month. It's an issue that deals all about coaching. That's from basketball coaching to soccer coaching to business coaching and what the value is for each of those particular types of coaching. And it's an excellent article, and we'll refer more to that in future shows. So for me, you can get one-to-one coaching, you can get group coaching, you can get you can have me come for a speaking engagement. Whatever your issue is or problem, give me a call, 727-537-9680. And thank you again, Charlaina. She can be reached at her phone number, which was 813-337-2000. And next week we'll have Mr. Mark Vernick with us, and we'll talk to you then.
WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills, Tampa Bay. Listen.
Tensions in Ferguson, more Legionnaires' deaths. I'm Ann Cates. A state of emergency is in effect in Ferguson, Missouri, after police officers shot and critically wounded an 18-year-old man. Tyrone Harris faces 10 felony charges for allegedly going after cops with a gun and then his vehicle. Ferguson Police Chief Andre Anderson.
We feel that they were in danger. because not only has this young man demonstrated a propensity for using